What this weird hobo look my has allowed me to do. Well, hey everyone. Welcome to the Grizzly gaming stream. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna enjoy it. I'm not impressed with what I've seen with the Intrepid. I don't know. Star Citizen talk right off the bat. We'll get into the video of it, but the price point that they're doing, I don't understand, right? We'll get into it. I should start with, welcome to the stream. We're going to have a good time. Wife just stole all my water. She promised me coffee, and I see no coffee forthcoming. But we're going to have a good stream. Star's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. We're also going to do some Foxhole talk. We're going to help wife walk through some logic, what to do. It'll be good for all of you newbies getting into it and wanting to help the war effort be effective. Well, for now, we're going to watch something. See if I remember how to. Well, I guess I should wait a few minutes to let people come in. Man. Oh.
Though, to be fair,
big news to start with. More bad news. All this bad news coming at you. 4.0 Star Citizen is going to have a full wipe. Everything. The reputation system, inventory, all of it gone. All the ships to me. So that means everything's going to be deleted. Thank you, wife. Which I admit really dampers my desire to play. Which, I know why they're doing it, and I know why it's necessary. And it's good of them to warn people. But the other side of me is like, well, holy crap. Now less people are going to want to test all the stuff that's going to need to be tested. The joys of alpha and playing alpha for 20,000 years. 20 years? Does that feel better after I said 20,000? No, I'm pretty sure that my late descendants are going to be still waiting. It'll upgrade technology every time and downgrade a little bit when the Stone Age comes back. The one thing that will stay consistent is Star Citizen and Alpha. But as I am a man who does enjoy a good space romp, we'll get into a silly little video. I've watched part of this. Wife hasn't watched any of it. It's going to be fun. It's about the IE. If you don't know, Star Citizen does a ship expo every year. Which kind of sounds funny, but basically they put all the ships up for anybody to use.
I am so sorry.
What did you do? Murdered something. And so... And there's usually a free fly, which means you can play the game for free if you don't own it and try it out. See all of its bugs and all the rest. If you're in the game and you try all the ships, it's a good time. And they always have sales and new ships up. But we're going to talk about the new ships. I think the Starlight. What are you doing right now?
Using the other chair as a footstool.
Maybe you shouldn't. There's a.
There we go.
Very professional. Yes. Wife, you ready?
And everything.
Yes. You ready, wife?
I'm ready.
Okay, I'm gonna share. Oh yes, what a nice looking face we have
like
there.
You had a really bad fart.
Do I need to? Is it this? No, wait, that doesn't seem right.
You need to go into the.
Eh.
Wait! You almost did it.
Well, first, let's
make it big.
You make it big.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
Do I have my sound up? Oh.
Down, girl. What are you trying to do here? All right. Hey. We're gonna start.
And where's my...
Yeah.
On the show floor, the new starter from Crusader.
The Intrepid is the newest starter ship from Crusader Industries. Specializing in cargo delivery and lightweight combat, it carries several unique characteristics that set it apart from others of its class. The Intrepid carries its 8 SCU of cargo in 2 freight elevators, which also serve as additional entry and exit points in emergency situations. And while its armament might seem modest, the Intrepid...
They actually did it! Let's repeat that part, shall we?
Freight elevator, which also serve as a distinctive design.
I want you all to remember, this is supposed to be like their big push for everyone to...
Pays homage to Crusader's larger starfighter ships, its dedicated engineering terminal, starter ships.
It's like, though its weapons are shit, please still buy this ship. Like, what? Why are you? Why? 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 Look, I get it, right? They wanted a starter ship that wasn't a military focused one. It wasn't a pew pew shoot shoot bang bang, and yet it was, as they said, lightweight combat. Clearly, it's more of an FPS focused ship. However, most FPS, well, not most, but a sizable amount of FPS missions have ship combat before you get to the FPS part. You have to fight your way to the part where you're shooting people, or land nearby and have to drive in with a vehicle, that kind of thing. This can't hold a vehicle. This can hold maybe a little bike. A little I've seen it. Right? It can hold a speeder. This little thing here, I've seen it. If I can bring it back.
Carries several unique characteristics that set it apart from others of its class.
The
Intrepid.
Let me hear that.
The new starter from Crusader.
Right.
The Intrepid is the newest starter ship from Crusader Industries.
By the way, let's all remember how small this gun was when they had the nerve to put a size 3 on it. Like, remember, it didn't go past this wing right here, that little knob, excuse me, that little, the knob right here. Just so everyone remembers, right? They were going to sell this thing combat potential of a 100i. Size 2 ship. This ship is the size of my shipping game that you've seen. It's the size of a Titan, an Avenger Titan. And by the way, we're going to get to it.
Does Titan fit more though?
Yes, but the Titan has 8 SU. It has the same amount of SU, but a bigger cargo hold altogether. You can stuff more in. Okay. So that's fun.
Specializing in cargo delivery.
So this is
gym?
It's right here. This part is its biggest saving grace.
It's home gym.
It's home gym. Those are guns, and not the muscle you tie.
Those are dumbbells.
It has one of the dumbbells. It's because it has the crew stuff that looks like.
You're a dumbass. Just kidding.
Looks like recovery fluids at a gym, right? It has the large extra sized FPS rack, which is a saving grace. There's very few ships that have that because they only started adding that recently as they realized it was an issue. Thing is, I'm sure when they go back for the gold standard, they're going to start adding it to more ships. But it allows you to have a railgun or a rocket launcher in there, or a couple of bigger weapons. That's a big deal. Is it $20 kind of a big deal? No. Cutter has one. Cutter's cheaper than this. You want to remember this. And we'll get into the price in a moment. But this is an excellent FPS thing. This had the potential to be a marvelous, wonderful little FPS-focused starter ship. You pay a little extra, you have a little more to work with in your escapades shooting and murdering criminals or cops throughout the universe.
And lightweight combat, it carries several unique characteristics. Class.
No, it doesn't, but we'll get into that.
The Intrepid carries its 8 SCU of cargo in 2 freight elevators, which also serve as additional entry and exit points in emergency situations.
Yeah, and those are cool, and I really do like them. The problem is they really needed to make it one elevator thing. They were like, oh, we've done that on a lot of ships. We're going to put it in 2. The issue is 4 SCU size boxes are in squares. Meaning you have 8 SCU. But if you find 8 SCU in 2 size 4 boxes, let's say you got lucky enough with your small armament that they get into, your little pew-pew gun, and kill a pirate ship, and they have contraband aboard, and they're in size 4 SCUs, even though you have 8 SCU, you cannot get this on your ship. You might, but you're going to have to play a weird game where you like put it up in there and then like put it into the part where it's not supposed to be. And I haven't seen anyone try to do that. You can get a
when a
motorbike
dentist,
in there.
When a dentist place starts, this is that was the.
So you're only ever going to be able to fit like a size 2 as the biggest box you can fit in there. Origin, the Origin series, the 300 series can fit. The 300i can fit 2 size 4s, as I understand it. The 315p can fit 3 of them. Well, the Titan has a little more of a struggle because it's set up in a similar way as this, with its 2 size 4 grids on either side of a walkway. But because it's in a walkway with a little cargo bay in the back, you can actually fit more. It just won't all be sticking. If that makes any sense. Luckily, with the cargo update, you could put probably good. Almost double, like a lot of cargo in the Titan. I want to know who did it. Because the Titan has 2 entrances in the front and the back. And keep in mind, though you should be able to do that with the Intrepid a little bit, realistically, you're not going to be able to stuff it as much. I'd have to test it. But the doors don't look like they're wide enough to take a 1 SCU package, which means you're not going to be able to fill the entire reins of your hull with SCU boxes, which I remind you are the smallest container for standard cargo. Except for the small little 1/8 boxes. Right.
My little lunchbox.
And I want everyone to know, I want to like this ship. Unlike other people, I don't think it's ugly. I actually think it's kind of cool.
It looks nice.
I want to like an FPS focused thing because that's what I really like to do in the verse. And it seems to be focused towards pyro. We'll get into that in a minute. I looked at its stats online. It has a lot of range. But then you would think they would have given it a little more firepower or something so it could survive in pyro. But whatever. What do I know?
Situations. And while its armament might seem modest,
Its armament might see. They've literally. You can tell. I'm sorry for pausing so much, but I'm actually kind of annoyed at CIG about this. That they've redone this trailer recently. Because notice how that's a size 4 gun? Right? It had a size 3 a few months ago. So they've had to make a new trailer because of how poorly this thing was accepted by the fans. And I'm trying to wrap my mind around it, too. It's not a small ship. It's the size of a Titan. There's no reason why they couldn't have added some more stuff. And they're literally going to be charging.
Is that their only gun?
It's the only gun. That goes down, that's it. It's one gun.
They didn't even put one on the other side? Like,
No,
to make it asymmetric?
It is asymmetric.
Oh.
Why? You're thinking symmetric.
Symmetric,
We need one gun on both sides.
Yeah.
And again, I want to like it because I kind of enjoy the Ares Starfire feel to it. But what are they doing? If this had been a $45 to a $50 ship, way on the money with the Intrepid, okay? Because you'd have you'd double the SU that most ships at that price point have, but we would have less firepower, less missiles. Most of those other ships have that, or have something like with the cutter, you can fit a mole in the back of it, and if you're really sneaky, you can get the rock in there, but you can't close the back door. So it's a little, if you ever see a guy flying in this ship and there's like this other, it's like giving birth to this weird mining car in the back. That's what they're doing. But it's workable. You can do it. Planet first. Then load up your rock and pray to God as you fly. But you can do it, right? You're not fitting anything bigger than a space bike in the Intrepid. And this is really it makes me sad. I like a good FPS focused ship. The stuff that's in it seems to be pointed towards future Star Citizen features. They like he'll get into it in just a second here.
Intrepid bolsters an exceptional size 4 weapon hardpoint.
Exceptional size 4. Okay, I want you guys to all know this thing costs more than Avenger Titan. The Titan has a size 4 and 2 size 3s. Exceptional size 4. It's not that exceptional given the price point.
They're really trying to sell it.
But you can already hear in it how they know they've already not sold it. And, you know, again,
that's what I'm saying. Is that
I want to like it. Like, it's just plain annoying to me. And I don't mean to get into it. We're going to get into the more fun stuff later into the video. I just got to get this rant off my chest. When they do this kind of thing to ships, like I have this rant with the 100 series. I like the 100 series. It's kind of pretty. It's kind of small. It doesn't have a lot of firepower. It doesn't have a lot going for it. It has a couple of good things. Like it goes on a small pad, so you can actually get it on just a standard outpost. You can spawn it.
For a little cruise.
Yes, it's good. It has some uses. You can use it for a prison escape because you can spawn it on the planet outposts. You can use. It's great for that. It's good if you like something happened to your big ship while you were getting cargo. You're not stranded. You could get out. That is all useful. 125 can be useful in a fight, but you got to really know what you're doing. But it's too expensive. It costs as much as the 300 series, which has double everything the 100 series has. Why? What are you trying to do? Why would anyone buy that with real money when they can get better ship with the 300 series for the same amount of money? And, you know, I don't see the 100 series out in the wild. I don't know if you guys do. I see plenty of Cutlasses, a bunch of other ships. It did stat-wise, it makes no sense, but it's just a crazy ship, so people like to drive. Right? I get annoyed because, remember, they need to make their money back because these ships take a lot of time and effort to make. There is a cost involved, but the cost is not something that's in like it doesn't cost them more money to put a size 5 gun on there. Right? It doesn't cost them more money to give it 2 shields. It only has 1 shield. Titan has 2 shields. Titan has 8 SU. Titan has 2 size 3 guns. It's not double the firepower. It's more than double the firepower. The Titan has more things it can stuff into its back because it's all together, and it has a proper second entrance. You say, oh, a cargo bear is the second entrance. Yeah, but if you put cargo in it, it's not anymore. Now, one could argue if you overstuff the Titan, it's the same situation. But no, if you just stick to the cargo grid using the 8 SCU, well, guess what? You can still walk in both entrances. Help me out. Help me out, CIG. What are we going for? It does have an armor locker, which none of those other ships have, which, again, will be useful later on. It is also long-ranged. If you look on Urkel, it has 1.2 SCU. They changed everything, and I don't know what that means, but it has apparently more than double your Titan and a few other ships' range and quantum travel. I think. At least that's what the numbers say. Again, I haven't had time to experiment with it. I mean, if that's the case, then yes, it'd be useful. But again, then give it something. You say, oh, it's really fast and maneuverable. The Titan is faster and more maneuverable. The Titan is cheaper. Fast. Okay, let's run this through again. CIG, help me out here. The Titan is faster, has the same amount of SCU, but potential to get more SCU in because it's a cargo bay, a proper cargo bay, where you can like jam things in Tetris style, right? And can fit a few more different types of vehicles out. Mm-hmm. They're the same size, so they're going to be the same size to hit and everything. But it has double the shielding. The Titan has double the shielding. This one only has 1 shielding, even though the size of the ship should suggest that it has 2 shields. Okay. Did I already say it's faster and more maneuverable? It has more than double the firepower of the Intrepid after the size 4 upgrade. Including missiles. Shields, right, including missiles. And is that it? It also has the bed and a little living area.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Titan has that too. It doesn't have the weapons locker, though. The big weapons locker. It can't have a nice railgun sitting there for you, and it doesn't have an armor locker yet. I'm imagining they're going to add things like that to various old ships. And so I'm sitting here, I'm going, and it's $5 cheaper than the Intrepid. why would anyone buying a starter pack? Why would they ever buy the Intrepid when they can buy the Avenger Titan instead? It does everything the Intrepid does better, except for two areas. 3. FPS weapon storage and your suit locker storage. It has more health, more hit points, and it has more range. That's it. For that, it's going to be $5 more, but worse at everything else. I don't know. It strikes me as a $50 ship at most. There are ships that cost $45 that have more firepower than the Intrepid, and only half the SCU or something. I don't know. I just put double the shields. Help me out, CIG. What are we doing with this ship?
Giving it an edge over other starter ships.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't give it an edge. It doesn't.
Piloted well. Design pays
homage. Piloted well. Again, as we pointed out, other starter ships have size 4 guns. We're going to move on.
To Crusader's larger starfighter ships, its dedicated engineering
team. Here, this is what I think they're trying to sell, is this engineering thing. We don't know what the engineering is going to do for a ship, but I'm also a little confused.
It looks like a printer.
That's it. I get it. Multi-crew. Keyword multi-crew. This is a single person fighter ship thing. There's only one person on this ship. So if you're on this thing, you're not flying the ship. I mean, we'll have to see what that means in the engineering thing, but you're not going to be jumping back there, fixing something mid-fight, and then jumping back in the seat. Cool.
That's what your rules. Pets based.
Also ensures efficient operation. The Crusader Intrepid looks to be a worthwhile entry into IAE's showcase of vehicles aimed at entrepreneurial pilots making their initial foray into. And you can find it on this year's show floor to consider for yourself.
Well, there it is.
Despite official denials by leaders throughout the Empire, sources confirm the existence of Legionnaires, the UEE's daring, highly trained special mission force. Their purpose to defend human freedom against Vandal and the forces of tyranny in every corner of the galaxy. And they can now be yours in the comfort of your own quarters. The next wave of authentic Legionnaire figures and vehicles. There's Shadow Stranger with Hornet Ghost, Hound Dog with Hornet Tracker, Sandstorm with Double Nova, Dr. Parasite with Terrapin Medic, Major Dauntless with Crusader Intrepid, and General Jax McCleary with the RSI Polaris. And while the UEE may not be able to confirm the existence of Legionnaires, you can recreate your favorite scenes from the hit show on Spectrum.
Yeah, now you better make that show.
So you can always keep one new in box in case you're ever crazy enough to sell one. Legionnaires. They'll send the Vandal back where they come from.
How entertaining.
Playground sold separately. Requires meshing for assembly.
Welcome to the IAE show. Brought to you from Noob, the site of this year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo.
That whole thing was kind of entertaining, but that took a lot of development there. Like, it took a lot. I don't know. I got mixed on it.
Middle child is asleep.
Well, that's good.
This is like, I can't see because the light's off. Youngest boy is just jumping around. Man. Going off and turning off and on.
They're having a disco party in there. They're having as much of a
sleep.
Were they having fun with these Legionnaire, like a Legionnaire party here? What? G.I. Joe.
They wish.
Again, I find it funny they put the black guy in the Intrepid, the GIMP ship. You know.
Welcome to the IAE show.
All right, so what do they got for
from
us?
Noob, the site of this year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, and your guide to the future of spacecraft and vehicles in the verse. Up next, we discuss A Time to Kill with Rich Tyra, John Crew, and Jared Huckabee.
You guys can
Don't change the channel. It's the IAE show, and it starts right now.
Neither of them matter. So,
all right, thank you so much. Welcome to the IAE show.
Last thoughts on the Intrepid. When it's not on sale, and you want to buy a game package and you have the Intrepid to start with, $80. $80 of a game package. Overpriced by $20. That's all I'll say about that. Now we will continue to the fun stuff.
I'm Jared. We're here talking with Rich and John about the future of space combat, spaceship operations in our Persistent Universe game. There's a couple topics we're going to cover, one today and then two more as we go. I want to talk about something that is at the core of the entire spaceship experience, and that's time to kill. Now, right now in Star Citizen, as players have known it since 2015, your ship can take a few shots and then it goes, poof, you know, fiery explosion. A very impressive fiery explosion. Shout out to Mike Snowden and his team there. But that's not the experience that we've been building towards. And a lot of the changes that we announced at CitizenCon with insurance and whatnot, these hide into the future direction of spaceships and life on board spaceships. Talking about time to kill. How long are these ships supposed to last? Are they supposed to go up like confetti like they currently do? And what's the vision for space combat supposed to be?
I think the first thing we need to do is moving away from time to kill and move towards time to disable. Explode, but we want you to be in that loop of wanting to own your ship. Loss should matter. We want you to put keeping your ship alive.
This is all well and
if something does happen, getting it back.
We've talked about physicalized damage in the past. Is this just a matter of getting that physical damage, or is there more to it?
First off, physicalized damage is tied to our Maelstrom system, which you probably didn't know, but we saw for the first time in action for the Squadron demo. All the ships, for example, in the turret sequence were set up with Maelstrom and using our physicalized damage system. We're moving towards more a physically based system that actually works out the speed of the projectile, the collision, and then generates the force, and that force then dictates the damage that's associated with the ship itself. And what that means is that opens up a whole new area of gameplay for piracy, taking those ships back, repairing, going back to your ship to actually...
So if you guys don't know, that has been something that they've been talking about for a while. They've always been talking about wanting to make something similar to War of Tanks, and that includes armors and penetration and all... armors and penetration. So with that, you guys might have...
I'm joking.
This has always been in the cards, right? This is always what they've wanted to do. It's interesting to think about how it would change the game when different construction types matter.
Lights off. See?
Yes, I could see that. They're going crazy in there. They're like, spaceships, Dad! Spaceships!
The middle one is asleep.
They ain't anymore. I can hear him.
I feel like that's the oldest thing that's the
Okay, we're going to keep going.
Either take it back to your own. If you're the pirate itself, you can actually take it to the council and get your own ID on there. But ultimately, death in the game right now, that's kind of a faked soft death. It's kind of just a slightly move in that direction. But
someone's
it's not the
getting
full
it. Everyone knows what's happening.
Working on for a long time. You know, when John says loss matters, so it's something we need to start talking about.
What's really good about this
lost my ship and it does take a long time to get back. How does that impact me if I'm playing the game? What happens if that's my only ship? And I think that's where we need to start thinking about a more complex algorithm to deal with insurance claims and how you get your ship back. And then that directly ties into the TTK or TTD, time to disable, for us to be able to get these ships back. So if you think of, say, starter ships or ships that are small in nature, so like an interceptor or some of our small racing ships, those ships should be, like I said in the 1.0 talk, should always be readily available. So if you lose those ships, we don't really want to punish the player. It needs to be a symbiosis where loss matters and it needs to be impactful to your game experience, but it can't be so impactful that it stops you playing the game. Then it essentially curves up towards the more extreme scenarios. We need to have this almost agile algorithm that basically allows us to work out, like, okay, how many times have you lost your ship in the last hour? Does this player have only one ship on their account? How do we take that into account to make the player experience fair?
Of course, that's the ultimate penalty, loss of your ship. Until that point, we've got features like resource networking, which is the beginning of this time to disable, this extending the length and life of your ship to make it so that not only does it not explode right away, but the players, the members aboard the ship, have more opportunities to repair the ship. What is that experience supposed to be like on a single player ship? How do we keep that alive longer to the larger?
It's a two-way thing. Obviously, time to kill, time to disable is generally thought about from the aggressor's point of view, but it also matters to the victim of this combat encounter. We can't have it be so quick that you have no chance to do anything about that. So with physical damage and resource network, it moves it away from being a just sort of race to zero on the health. Items will start malfunctioning, forcing that person to make a decision of, am I going to flee? Am I going to deal with this now and take the risk? And then on the flip side, that gives you, as the aggressor, the chance to go, what do I want to do with this disabled ship now? Obviously, single seaters have less room for options in this scenario, but really the bulk of that gameplay is on the larger multi-crew ships where you'll be moving around inside your ship, repairing, replacing relays. The engineer will be diverting power to different systems.
We have
just
to
sort of
then,
give everybody enough time.
Why didn't you give the multi-crew stuff to the Intrepid, which is part of your small ship category? Not to keep banging on that, but what's going on?
Decide what they want to do in that scenario. And there's so many different scenarios that can be done.
Sounds like we're building a progression here. Are the larger ships intended to last longer? They have more lifespan. There's more that you can do to keep them alive. Am I sensing this right? Is there a progression here?
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately, we want you to progress in the game and build your fleet, whether that's solo or with a group. You need to be able to have some level of understanding that you're not going to lose it straight away. And the other aspect that I think is really to see about in terms of when you say progression, it's not just progression for the TTK or TTD for across the entire spectrum of the game, or the progression for the player, the victim or the defender, or versus the attacker. When your ship is disabled, there's no way to bring that back. When we have the proper version where your ship components are gone and utilizing the physicalized damage, you can bring that ship back. And that's the huge difference. And that opens up this entire gameplay loop where you have towing and repair, and maybe somebody can repair it for you. And it's what, they've opened a nearby shop. So they're a repair shop and they give you good chances to repair versus cheaper prices than taking it to an LZ or a space station. So I think when we talk about progression, especially
I've always
from
wanted it where you can bring the ship.
I want to see progression across
you find a derelict ship out there and you bring it back.
Hopefully people start to see, and it's the reason why we wanted to talk about 1.0.
We'll see what they can pull off.
People start to see how all these things connect together. A lot of the other stuff. There's a reason why we did all these things over the last 2 or 3 years. It's not like we were throwing a dart at the dartboard and hoping that grand plan about trying to bring them all together. But ultimately, we want to be in a position part of that.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting. This TDD.
So I want to stop here real quick and say what is actually the key to that. Right? Like I brought up, if you're going to make these ships really difficult, have to bring back, even with insurance, right? Really hard to get. Like, let's say you have lifetime insurance on your Polaris, it blows up, and it's unsalvageable, whatever. You really screwed that hard. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe you attacked the Vandal and they ripped it to pieces. Okay? And it takes maybe weeks for that to come back, or a week to come back. Or it gets even harsher. Who knows? Right? Maybe it's weeks and you have to spend a lot of money to get it back. That means you cannot have these situations where a ship explodes for no good reason. You can't have a situation where, like, I have it all the time, where the ship glitches or lags for a second, and then you're hitting something and you're dead. There's nothing you can do. You can't have a moment where, like, you're in combat, everything kind of spazzes out a little bit, and the AI lags and starts shooting you right, gets right in your face. All that stuff has to be really good, really polished before you can start adding all these extra things. And even with the being able to bring ships back from the grave, I love that idea. I remember when they first brought it up, I saw them bringing it down. That you're not going to go for the trouble of repairing a ship that you've either found or you have, if it could just blow up the next bit. And I know you're saying, well, they're saying it won't just blow up. it won't just blow up if everything works as intended. As we're bringing up, it's a very big game, lots of issues happening. In big games, things go wrong. Even well-polished big games. How many hilarious glitches have you seen in things like Red Dead Redemption 2? And this game is way bigger than Red Dead Redemption 2. So this is going to be a balancing act. I want to see what they do. But it worries me. I know this has always been the plan, because unlike other people, I actually do pay attention. Like everyone, when they were spazzing out about like, oh, what do you mean we'll be able to build all the space stations of the PvP game? What is this, Eve Light? And I'm like, they've been telling you it's going to be Eve-like, or Eve Light, if you will, the entire time. Like when I first got on,
how many years ago?
Years ago, they were talking about this direction they were going in. Pay attention. They tell you what they're going to do. Like now, I bet a lot of people aren't paying attention. I'm watching you. Okay, we'll get back into it. You don't want to just hear
We're going to have to get in the doesn't just open up the life of the folks who own these ships and combat. I'm really excited about it opening up, like you said, repair, fueling, rearming, all these things.
Absolutely.
It's like it's your ship hull is still there, even passenger transport. Like, hey, I need to get back to my to my ship, but maybe it's still in a conflict zone and everything, so I need help to get back. There's so many opportunities that increasing the lifespan of these ships gives to the game.
And just to be clear as well on that front, they're not end game professions either.
No.
Every profession in should have a starting location, so you can become self-sufficient if you want to play by yourself and you want to try and figure it out on your own. But then you can also engage in the community and be online. So there's definitely avenues that are available to you.
You mentioned the difference between PvE and PvP. These changes on the surface sound great from a player versus player standpoint, from a player making their life worse, but trying to do some of the more basic missions and realizing that, okay, well, this time to disable change could make some of those missions tedious if we're applied across.
There's two things to take into account. One is the fact that if we look at the balance across the entire game right now, and I'm going to say end game, the current end game, because the current end game really kind of finishes with medium ships. We don't really have the large ship gameplay that we want to add. But the current end game is probably too easy, and the current starter position in terms of the balance of these missions is too hard.
Give us some for the PvEers.
And the second thing was for PvP and PvE. So you kind of have this opposite end of the spectrum. You have this end of the spectrum, which is PvE side, where we want you to be the hero. And in that scenario, while we want to have challenging missions where you're going up against a high target bounty using a single ship, and this ship is really well repaired, but we also want you to be able to go up against 4, 5, 6 ships as an encounter. Where we're going to start balancing that aspect is that those ships will probably be owned by bandits or pirates, and they'll be less well repaired, so they will be easier to kill or easier to disable. So if you talk about the PvE side, I think more ships will end up going critical and blowing up, so that you're not left with just these 5 ships. And it's also part of the economy balance that we don't want you to just constantly be collecting ships, but ultimately we'll have that. We will balance it.
Those big heroic experiences where you feel like a badass killing.
You don't want to be fighting the same 5 things for an hour.
Right. Exactly.
Disabling them all one by one. You want them all to go.
And then on the PvP side, we want to make sure that, well, even if you're in a starter ship and you're in a starter ship and we go and fight each other, or I'm in a medium ship and you're in a medium ship, we don't want to be in a position where 5 seconds it's gone. But ultimately, I think you're going to get greater enjoyment if you had to work for it and you had to have some level of challenge. And that's where we want to be, in a position where we can look at PvE and PvP and we can balance them in a way that gives us the best experience for both of those players. And I think this comes back to what I said at CitizenCon. We genuinely want to strive that everybody who wants to play Star Citizen, that there is a role in the verse for those players, and that they have something that they want to work towards and achieve. And ultimately, if they're going to, spend their free time, we have a duty to make sure that we are providing fun for those players.
All right, so thank you guys so much. That's time to kill, or time to disable, new term for the lexicon. Up next, we're going to ask John Crew to take us on a photographic tour of his 4 dogs. It's 2 Spaniels and 2 Labradors. Stay tuned.
Dogs? I'm on board. Are they on spaceships?
You thought you had the whole story, but there's still a lot you don't know.
this isn't a tour of the RSI headquarters, please.
Oh god.
Yes, when nerds and weirdos.
Perfect.
You have to watch it with me.
Mark Avon is the bug maker.
Prequel shows are all the rage these days.
Bug makers.
It's easier than the show about fixing them ever was.
Welcome, everybody, to the return of Quantum Questions, where we take a CIG developer, put them on the hot seat, and make them answer as many questions in under 2 minutes as they can.
From college.
Joining us on the show this week is Vehicle Art Director, Mr. Ben Curtis. Ben, how you doing?
All right, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
You excited?
A little bit nervous and excited, yeah.
Let's put 2 minutes on the clock.
Right. They didn't damage you that
and
much.
Begin.
Okay,
Who are you and what do you do?
My name's Ben Curtis, and I am Vehicle
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
Are you any
Who's
good
your
at
daddy?
I hope so. I'll back this aside.
Jeffrey's tubes, yay or nay?
Give that guy a vacation.
Why did the Polaris get so many new guns?
Because you want capital ships to be able to destroy things. But no, really, it just got PDCs.
Speaking of PDCs, are other ships going to get them now that they've arrived with the Polaris?
Yeah, we've added them to some existing ships already.
So the point defense guns are actually going to be hitting small ships now.
Does that include the 890 jump? Are you happy with the Polaris?
You said
very happy.
Just
tell us one of the ships from that CitizenCon tease of the next 12 months.
The Perseus.
Ooh, can you tell us another? We make more variants of existing vehicles.
I think when it comes to variants, it's a balance of backlog ships, new ships of variants, and it's just really getting them slotted in together.
If you could make a new variant of an existing vehicle right now, what?
The Bounty Hunter Cutter.
Oh, nice. What will be the next variant of an existing?
Sorry, man.
That's Super Hornet.
Not enough guns.
Retaliator modules. Which one are coming next?
Probably the dropship and habitations aspect.
What was your favorite temporary internal name for a ship or vehicle that never made it to the public?
We've come up with a code name, and all I'll say is you got to catch them all.
Yeah. Will the Connie get a Mark V after seeing how cool the Zeus is?
Probably not a Mark V, but it will get an update.
Okay. Caterpillar modules. Give us something tangible. What are we thinking?
I think we've obviously got cargo at the moment. I think there's lots of opportunities. We could do exotic cargo. We could do, I know everyone wants a mini carrier or that sort of mini ship.
Fun. Come on.
Lots
of
opportunities.
Okay. Carrick blast shields?
Yes. In 4.0.
Oh, they finally did it. Years, but hey, they did it.
Carrick cargo doors.
In 4.0.
Oh, hey.
What is the next manufacturer to get a focus after everyone frees up from the Polaris?
We're still on RSI, but we're also pushing on to larger MISC ships and Drake ships.
And what's the deal with the long dash of the Starlancer?
Choice, and I thought it was really cool, and some people don't.
All right, let's find out how you did.
Flack on that one.
So after part one, Ben Curtis sets the standard with a whopping 15 questions answered correct. We'll see if John Crew can best him next time. Up next, Dan McCabe. Is he really all you need to make every spaceship?
Sure. All the bad acting before you left. Anyway, that was kind of fun.
It was just preparation paper for this videos, the project videos for his office.
Where was pretending. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the nerd and the gamma who think they can act and people want to watch them in an acting role.
No.
It's all right though. All right, man. Now that we've given my wife nightmares for a couple of years now of all the weirdos in her life. I'm not gonna lie, what wasn't my favorite? I wanted an IE video and I wanted to be partially surprised. I think I would have watched all for it. It wasn't my favorite to watch it. They've really given any new information. I was a little sad about that. They'd already said most of that, but I guess you got to repeat it to get it through people's minds. they'd been talking about their Maelstrom system for a while. It was cool to learn that it was in the Squadron 42 thing. The damage state in the Javelin I thought was just canned, but it was pretty cool. If you're wondering, like, right, the pieces getting blown off and damaged and all that, that's the Maelstrom system. So if you go back to the, that was pretty cool. So when they get that all done, that'll be pretty fun to watch. Now, honestly, I don't think they need to worry. I mean, for PT years, I get it, right? They gotta have lots of ships, but if it would also, I think, as a guy who does plenty of those missions, be kind of fun to watch the enemy ships slowly get torn apart and just have less of them to go after. I don't know. I could be wrong. Most of the people doing those missions are just trying to burn through, like, grind money. So they don't really care. They just want them to blow up fast and take the money. Yeah, I guess we're going to have to wait and see if they give us anything more exciting. I'm cool. Star Lancer was cool. And also, come on. You want to make the Cracker Pillar. It's big enough. Just make Fury Bays in there. It'll be fun. Or you want to make the Drake guys really happy, right? Make another snub fighter that's the Drake's answer to the Fury. And then make a Caterpillar module variant that's designed to hold it. Wife, you look like. Stop imagining your crazy stalkers and family
I'm
members.
not.
It's just like.
I'm so out of it.
It's like drained her like a vampire. My children are like attacking her viciously. Yeah. She's just sad because we went for the trouble of loading up a full armored car, and then I got a job interview call I had to take, and wife, she's excited. It's gonna be fun, but my wife got stuck with the armored car, and the enemy stole it. My wife is very sad. I keep telling her it's not that big of a deal.
I should have just given it to the group of guys when they asked me for joining them, and I just.
It's okay. They probably would have just gotten it blown up too. Don't you worry about it.
How about them blowing up than me? Because now I just feel horrible. It's like when the man doesn't lead and the things just get worse and worse. But then at least
that's my head. That is my head.
At least you'll feel bad.
This is so man. I should have kidnapped Skydog to bring him in here. Feel like my humor is all over the place, but yeah, Maelstrom would be cool.
That was a very slow video. I'm just gonna.
I know. I wasn't expecting it to be so slow. Usually, and don't get me wrong, I like heavy information videos for Star Citizen. I dig those.
That one was just dragging.
It was, and they were saying a lot of things that they've already said, and I know, and a lot of it was damage control. Like that entire Intrepid trailer was just damage control of the wazoo, which hilarious. A lot of reminders of, hey, we told you what we're doing. Yeah. Stop freaking out. And yeah, stop freaking out. It's just ironic, right? That I'm telling you that the whole time I was like questionable, skeptic. But I'm telling you guys to calm down a little bit because there are more plans coming out. And my wife's just stop thinking about it. It's okay. I'm here now. They can't get you. They can't hurt you. They don't exist anymore. Oh, man. But, wow. But IE is exciting if you haven't gotten into it. Recommend it. But the big ones are a lot of actually bad news for the Star Citizen front. We have the Intrepid being grossly overpriced. We have 4.0 wipe coming up, which will be everything. All the money, all the ships, all your reputation. Well, it's also an exciting time because all the players are on an even footing ground for a little while. No. All those ships bought with money are still there. So, equal playing field unless you're rich, in which case, I suppose you have quite the advantage. I am excited that they recognize that the beginning game is a little too hard compared to when you have ships built. But we're going to move on a little to... this has been a weird stream for me.
Let's talk about Foxhole.
You want to talk about Foxhole?
Yes.
Okay. We'll talk about Foxhole before we get off. So.
You said you were in the title.
Yes. Give me that. You guys want to see really bad art? Yeah. This is me making a map. I don't know why I felt like showing it off like a toddler, like, hey, Dad, look at this penis I drew or something. But I felt like it was good. This is going to be fun. I've been thinking about getting back into my old fantasy stories and writing them up. That is a continent-sized tree. It's a good time. Some of you guys, I've been thinking about turning that into a D&D campaign if you've ever wanted to explore
D&D like campaign.
A kingdom on top of a massive tree. That'll be fun at some point. Wow, she's really... Are you sure you want me to go into Foxhole right now? Can you make it?
Yeah.
You guys are... Yeah. I saw DJ Random Bear made a D&D joke. So...
Okay, so... Wait, you're going to write it down? Let me write it down. Okay.
Let me help you out. So, newbies who are getting into Foxhole, it can be very intimidating, as we've seen. Very intimidating. And I want to help you with something that you can do early on in the game and feel really, really useful. First off, first thing you need to remember when getting into Foxhole is you're going to make mistakes, and that is okay. You're going to give armored cars to the enemy. You're going to run somebody over. You're going to shoot somebody you shouldn't have shot. You're going to blow something up.
It didn't help that I almost lost, like, when we were driving, and then all of a sudden, it glitched me to the end of the cliff.
Well, it probably would have been better if it had gone off the cliff than given it to the enemy.
I know. I worked so hard trying to keep it, driving it during the glitch storm of the glitches. And
that was lag, actually.
Lagging, and what's the difference?
Well, a glitch is an issue with the game. Lag is an issue with connection. So here we go. Some quick...
You all had to make a crate and then try it.
I did. We saved it, and then we brought it to the enemy. We should have put a little bow on it. It was great. If you don't know about Foxhole, it is a massive multiplayer game online with wars that last for months.
I just told those guys to just take it.
It's okay. Wow. Someone tell my wife, not just me, that it's okay. Oh my gosh. Well, this is why we're here.
It's a game, but come on. Oh my gosh.
You all right? Maybe we should just get off here and do this another time.
Well, no.
Right. Okay. So, you get on Foxhole, you need to remember you're going to make mistakes, you're going to die, that's okay. When you get to your map, if you will, I should probably bring it up, but too tired to get you guys a bunch of visuals, and I lost everybody who came on anyway.
I was going back and forth. I mean, there are people.
There might be someone.
I need to write this down. Come on.
Hey, should we drag this out more and make my wife more stressed out? Okay. So let's say you log on to Foxhole and you want to do something Logi-wise because you're still getting used to the infantry combat, and obviously you don't want to risk a tank. So the first thing you want is what kind of Logi do you want to do? Right. We'll do a little decision parameter. First one was, I'll make a little box here. 2 decisions.
I have a whiteboard.
I guess we could do the whiteboard, but we'll do this for now.
Okay.
So you can reuse it later and not, Okay. Am I doing Logi? So logistics for all you nerds. Logi or combat? These are your decision brackets, if you will. Logi or combat? We're going down the Logi route this time. There are 3 types of logistics, if you will. Well, and we'll say 3. First one is production.
Okay.
Production. The second one Something funny? The second one is massive, we'll say massive transportation.
Mass transportation.
Mass transportation. Massive transportation. Mass transport. There we go. Mass transport. And the third is frontline logic.
If you're a history teacher, I know what you're going to sound like.
Now, class, you have to decide at this point where you're doing logic which one of these three things you're going to do. Here we go, right? If you can see it. I should actually have a professional video with this, but I'm showing you this, and maybe I'll make a document for this so you can just go through your little decision parameters. Now, when deciding which logistic path you want to go down, we have to ask a simple question. Why? Why? Man, I've already messed this up a little bit, but well, quickly, if I can use the board in my life. Why do you want to? Why are you doing this? What are you trying to do? Do you just want to help out generally? Do you have a goal in mind you're trying to produce too? Are you trying? Oh, you know, man, there's a technique. That's under production. Are you trying to help tech? Do you want a specific equipment to use in an operation? Do you just, did you get someone asked you to make it and you want to do it? You see a need on the front, you want to fill it, or do you just want to drive a truck around? These are all important questions. So let's say you want something specific. That means we're going to go to logistics in production. Well, I mean, this is really the noob of the noob. But we'll do that. Technically, these can all, it's so small, all fly together, if that makes any sense. So we'll say we're going to go to the beginning of the line and work our way through each type of logistics. All right? So we want to bring a massive amount of BMATs to where they're needed. Easy. Basic materials are used throughout the game. To do that, we go to our production window. Now, there's a few types of production. The first type is, well, the first step, we should say, is resource gathering. So I guess there's this point where you at when in production and you want something. Do you have the resources you need? If not, we go to resource gathering. Right. I feel like I should have practiced this before I got put into it.
I like this.
Right. Resource gathering. We want to make BMATs, right? BMATs. To do that, we need salvage. And something to move the salvage around. So a truck, we'll say. So, right. BMATs require salvage, if you will. There's a few ways we can get salvage. And we will also need a refinery. So we're going to get into that. Part of production is crafting. And then there is facility crafting. Facility crafting, yes. So, to get our basic materials for all kinds of production or just building defenses on the front lines, the first thing we're going to do is gather salvage. Now, this isn't always necessary, but I want to walk you guys through the full process if we were going to start it from the beginning. So, we go on a map. The first thing we're going to need to find is our refinery, which is basically, butcher this, but a picture of a hammer. That is, there are pictures of hammers.
Can you draw it on the big screen here?
That is a horrible hammer. You want me to draw the horrible hammer again? Oh my god. Okay, everyone, get ready. This is important. All right, here we go. We're going to start this. Dad, it's going to be a...
It doesn't need that top bit.
Sure it does.
It looks like horns.
A horrible, horrible hammer. You're going to look for a picture of a hammer, a better hammer than that. Hammer never came up when I was learning my basics in drawing. I got to work on that. On the map. Those are refineries. If you mouse over it, it'll even tell you it's a refinery. Now, erase that. Refinery. When you find a hex that has a refinery in it, that preferably close enough to the front you want to take it to. You're just mocking my hammer so bad right now. I deserve it.
Here's the smaller version.
All right. So let's
you can't even see it.
Bring on back here.
How do you draw a sledgehammer?
I think I want to start a new page. Is what I thought. So we found a hex with a refinery in it. So a spawn point. Spawn in that location. Your next step is to get yourself a truck. Which is part of an important thing. So depending on where you're at in the war, there's a few options for your trucks that you can use for this. The first one is your standard transport truck.
I'm just going to say BN for B minutes.
Truck. That one, right, is the one with the tarp on top of it, if you look at it. It's the dune transport for the wardens. I forget what the collies have, but it's fun. There is then a dump truck, if you will. Same as your transport truck. I'm going to write dump truck. But it has just a big empty tub in the back, if you will. And then finally we have the flatbed truck. So your transport truck, if you will. I think this is going to confuse anything, but whatever.
It's vehicles to put your stuff in. Okay, it's not that hard.
Le transport truck, right? Transport truck is the basic truck. It can hold any type of item up to about 15. Some items stack, some items don't. There's large items that don't stack. But the point is, it can hold a lot of materials, but it can't hold as much as the dump truck of raw resources, salvage, components, sulfur,
coal,
yes,
iron.
However, your dump truck can only carry these types of resources. It cannot carry produced goods. It can't carry rifles. It can't carry bullets. It can't carry bombs. It can't carry anything, any crates of these things. It can only carry your raw resources. Now, the flatbed truck, you've seen them running around.
That's the one with the big crates.
Mm-hmm. With the flatbed truck, you need a crane. Oh, yes.
The crane.
You need a crane. Seaports and storage facilities have cranes for this purpose. And they will have shipping containers and resource containers. For our purposes, if we were to use the flatbed truck, it is the most efficient at any one thing and can be changed for its purpose given whatever you... That's actually not a bad crane. Whatever you put in the back of the flatbed. So if you put a resource container in the back, you will be able to carry the most amount of raw resources. The shipping container can put the most amount of boxed up items. So we're going to get into packaged items, okay? You know, I realize this is actually more complicated than I expected. I think I made a more try it out video. So we pick our truck. In this case, for simplicity, we'll save the flatbeds for later because we'll grab the dump truck, right? Okay. Find yourself a salvage field, which just looks like a picture of a screw. Just looks like apparently a freaking funky mushroom, but it looks kind of like that. You find it on the field. You find it near your refinery, right? If you will. That looks like a pickaxe, whatever. Ooh. Oh. You find it. Pick one near your refinery or even one of the mines and bring a hammer or a sledgehammer if available. If the sledgehammer is available, go for that. It'll speed everything up. Once you fill your truck full of salvage, you take it to the refinery. When you can access the refinery from within inside the driver's seat of your truck. Once you do that, put all of your scrap into a recipe. This one will say basic materials and it'll have a picture of beams. Click on that, hold shift click, and it'll put all of your resources into that. You'll get a little timer that'll let you know how long it is before you get your basic mats. Now, once your basic mats are done, they need to get to the front. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this. If you're really close to the front, let's say your refinery has become under assault, if you will, then you can just take it to the nearest base. Don't worry about this next part. But for fast mass transport, if you right-click on the recipe or your finished beam mats, it'll bring down a drop-down menu, and you'll say retrieve items packaged or in crates. In crates, I think is what it says. Do that, and it'll put all of your beam mats in crates, which can be put into shipping containers or put in reserve stockpiles or in stockpiles in general. You can put it in public stockpiles so that everyone can see them. Crates have to go either into stockpiles or into bases, bunker bases, relic bases, town bases. You cannot unpackage them outside of a storage depot, a seaport, or one of these bases. So don't try taking these to the front lines without picking the location. You can't grab a crate of 20 grenades and open them on the front line. That's not how it works. You have to have a location you bring them to. Okay, so don't make that mistake. Also, shipping containers, right? Remember those? They can only be opened at storage depots and seaports. So don't try to take those to the front. That comes into the mass transportation. The mass transportation in this game is designed to be like a middle road that has only specific points that they can go to. Once you unload a box into a stockpile, it becomes really difficult to get a lot of the materials out of it in mass because you have to assemble them. So pick where you put them. It's very important because if, say, you dump all your resources that you're trying to help the front too far back, then they're not going to be very useful because the guys in the front aren't going to go 4 bases back to get it. You understand what I'm saying? You want to put it, but if you put it too far forward sometimes, that base might fall. So you got to use your brain. Where do they need the resources the most? And should I dump them all in one spot, or should I put them in a storage depot where other players later on can decide to disperse them as needed? That one's pretty good. The best advice I can give is to put most of your materials into storage depots and then let guys on the front line decide where they need them at that moment. Don't just dump everything into a base unless that base is really needing support.
Couldn't help it.
And yeah, so just a quick recap. get B mats out there. You gather scrap. Use a truck. Put it in the refinery. Package them into crates. Put them into a seaport or storage depot. And your fellow players who know more about the game, as you're learning, like you're going to learn about this stuff, right? Will know what to do. They can see it on the map. They'll go, oh, B-Mat's great. That's what I need. They'll take them and they'll move them where you want. This is the simplest way as a new player to be really, really useful in the mid to back to even front lines. Making sure frontline seaports and stuff and storage depots are full of B-Mats and shirts. So, revival tokens, if you will. That kind of stuff is beyond helpful because they're always needed and they're always being pushed forward. And if you put them into a storage depot, it's not too big of a deal if the front moves on because they can grab them out of the storage depot and bring them farther south or farther north if you're a dirty collie. And thus are easier to move. Once you unpack them and you put them into a stockpile, you put them into a stockpile at a base or something, they're really hard to move after that. They're designed to be put into somebody's inventory and fought with at that point. You're only going to get like 1s or 2s per click, while a box you could click and you have like 100, just like that. But again, right, the side effect is you can only put those boxes for use into a base before you can use them or store them in a storage facility. That has been a quick crash course on a simple thing you can do in Foxhole as a new player that everyone will love you for. And you can expand that as you go. A simple thing to do when you do frontline Logi is to just ask people what they want. Keep the wiki on hand if they ask you for something that you have no idea what it is and it's not in any of the storage depots. This is part of the reason why you should start in kind of the back, build stuff up, things like B-Mats a lot, and then push them into the mid before you do a lot of frontline work, in my opinion, because when you know how things are built, when they ask for something that they really need, you can go back and build it because or you can tell them that it's not going to happen because what they're asking to get built would be beyond, like it would take an hour to get it to them, and they will definitely be dead before them. You get the feel.
The front line is quite a team.
Now, if you're not a frontline, if you're not a Foxhole person, you're probably really confused of what the heck kind of game am I describing. It is insane, but it is a lot of fun and fulfilling. I recommend trying it. Don't do what I'm describing right off the bat. Right off the bat, just shoot some people. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of LARPing. There's a lot of people making hilarious noises as they die.
Go join the group of people going on gunbones and just raiding things.
Now, I actually recommend for new players not to jump into island combat right off the bat because you'll probably just get stuck on an island and have no idea what to do. Idea of what the guns do and what B-Mats are for, then go kind of in the back line where you'll be more useful for a while. Churning out B-Mats, pushing them in trucks to the front. I realize I should probably, Freak Holtz does a lot of good tutorial videos, but I think I might make a few because I don't think he's done flatbeds and stuff because it's a whole video explaining things. Real quick, to do this a little better. I should originally done. Okay, you want to do B-Mats. All right. So first question is when you spawn in, when you're about to spawn, is there a refinery? Okay. You spawned into a spot, you need B-Mats. First question you ask, is there a refinery in your hex? If yes.
Then go to it.
Yes. Maybe if no, then you're not. No. Trying to think of how. If no,
find a hex that has.
Find a hex. Find one. Perfect. Now we're done. Find one.
There we go. Okay.
There we go. You have a refinery. Yes. Good. Do you have a truck?
If no. build one or find one.
Here we go. Here we get there. Do you have a truck? No. No. Is there
one available?
Is there a garage?
Oh, there you go.
Garage where you can build one? No.
Steal one.
We'll get there. No. Is there a truck? Is there one in a public stockpile? Stockpile. In fact, I actually put this one before the is there a garage, but instead of
is there a stockpile?
Stockpile. No, and there's no garage. Do something else. I'll go over here and say respawn. Respawn where there is one. Right. And generally in these Logi towns, there's almost always a truck in public storage. Right. But we'll go back here. We'll say you do have a truck, right? If there's a garage, build a truck. Right. Okay. Do you have a truck? Yes. Find, is there a scrap field? Scrap field. All right. We'll go with this because we're trying to make this as fast. Is there, you guys get the point. Scrap field or mine. Yes. Collect scrap. Get scrap.
Get shit.
Get scrap.
Don't get scrapped, but get scrap.
Get scrap. Truck full? No. Find more scrap.
Have fun with it.
Yes. Truck full, right? Find more scrap. Back to truck full. Yes.
If yes.
Yes. Take to refinery. You trying to rip out your hair?
No, my hair tie broke.
Ow. Refinery.
I have thick hair.
Now. You're at the refinery.
You take your bee mats, right? Raw material you put into.
Make bee mats. Bee mats. Bee mats finished.
Place in truck. Deliver.
Take as crates.
There you go.
Crates.
Or resource containers.
Mm-hmm. Take no as crates.
Oh, it's crates.
Put in public stockpile. Pile.
Either at seaport or somewhere.
And then back up to scrap. rinse, repeat. It looks something like the decision-making process, if you will. I will make a digital version of this for everybody at some point. And there you go. You know, sometimes I forget how complicated this game is until I try to. Like, it's really easy, guys. It really is. And then I lay it out, and I'm like, wow, this is way more complicated than I thought it was. But anyway, thanks for coming in, guys.
I think what we would have to do is you be playing, and I join in, and then as if you're explaining.
I could record it.
You could record that. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm thinking I would actually have a PDF that people could bring up and put on the screen.
I know, but you know what I mean? You record it off of your computer.
It would be fun. We could do that sometime. This was not my best stream, but it was fun. I had a good time. Hope you guys did too.
You guys were guinea pigs.
Enjoy it. Like, subscribe, share, buy a book. It's in the description. It's a kid's book if you like that kind of thing. You got to train up more people for Foxhole after all. And join the Discord if you want to have some fun with that. Need to be more active in that. And got fiction stuff to read. We got Sunday school lessons coming up every Sunday, and then we go over them on a live stream on Monday. So be looking for those. And of course, every Friday we'll do a video game related stream. Yeah. Shake up the next one though. All right. Catch you guys later. You have a good one.